nobody wants to hear a song about the bloody weather. I mean, Nigel Godrich is a genius. I mean, and you get to see that in absolute complete, it's like watching magic happening. And we were all, you see all us going, our jaws on the floor. He does this thing at the beginning of that song where we're all just going, what is he doing? He's like flipping the tapes over because we're recording on tapes. And then he's playing the song backwards at twice the speed, tells Andy Dunlop to go in and hit these tubular bells, and then starts like playing the song backwards and starts doing this thing. And we're all like, what? And it gets to the end and then he flips the tapes back over and plays it. And it's like,
that's the noise that you hear.
That's the
Wow.
suddenly
That's it.
becomes this amazing thing.
He's like a wizard. He's like a little sonic wizard.
So when it happens, all of us are like, oh my God. It's like a really like, wow. I mean, you never hardly ever catch it on film.
Virgin Radio.
Well, this is a treat. Fran and Dougie from Travis, hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Welcome to Virgin Radio.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. You said a moment ago, you're here just before the gig that you're doing for us. This is like, Fran, you said this is like the zone of peace.
Yeah, you get into this little zone of, it's funny, like gigs are like a little you kind of go into this little place and it's so nice. The last few weeks or months, we've been playing a lot. So you get to go in it every night. It's like this nice little place. There's a little line at the edge of the stage, an invisible line you step over, and then everything, all your worries and everything just vanish, and you go into this playing zone. It's lovely.
And it happens every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and getting to singing is such a really therapeutic thing to do. Like it's a proper workout if you really go for it, which I do.
I want to get on to the big comeback, the album, the tour, the great songs. But first of all, and I know everybody has said this, everyone's asked it, I've been trying to find an original way. I'm just going to say, Fran, that hair's got a personality.
Yeah, well, I thought, we're this is a very, very important record for us. And I thought I'd get my hair done again, because I used to have a lot of fun with my hair back in the day.
Yeah.
And it identified us, and it's easy to identify. So I thought, I asked the guys, and I asked more importantly, Pete, the guy who's cut my hair forever, who gave me the fin, gave me the sort of slow hawk.
He's responsible for all
that, and he's like, because I'm going a bit thin, and I was like, do you think I can get away with it? And he's like, absolutely. If there's grass on the pitch,
let's play.
Let's play.
Do you know something? You're an utter trendsetter, because Angela Scanlon, who does our weekend breakfast show, turned up with exactly the same hairdo. Like the day after, you were on with Chris Evans. So I think, Fran's, you've got your fans.
I'm gonna say, in the next 6 months, if you watch the Premier League, look out for some crazy colour going on.
Beckham took the fin, didn't
he? He did.
He took the mohawk and took it to the World Cup.
Yeah, I met Beckham in the car park to Toys R Us many years ago.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was like before the World Cup when he had that big plaster on his foot. The big thing. Remember when he?
Yeah.
Him and his lovely missus was coming out with they looked like they'd just won the jackpot in Crackerjack, all the toys and everything, and I had my hair and he had normal hair, and then 2 weeks later he went to the World Cup and he had my hair, and I was like, there it is, and then everyone had my hair. So this is why I'm saying, watch the Premier League, just watch them, just you're going to see some crazy colours happening.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you both on the new album. I absolutely love it. It's the first album with 4 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
LA Times. You did a great performance the other week with Chris Evans here on Virgin Radio, and we loved it. Dougie, how does it feel being back?
It's brilliant. It's been incredible. We've been so busy this last couple of months because we've been out on tour with the Killers.
Yeah.
And normally you're not on tour when you're promoting a record, when you're releasing a record. So we've been doing kind of everything at the same time. And it's been fantastic. We've had amazing shows. We feel like really amped up to kind of get out there and do it, because the last record, 10 songs, it came out in COVID. Came out in lockdown. Of
course.
And so we couldn't play. So we never played those songs live.
That must have been so frustrating.
Very frustrating. And also it leaves a feeling of unfinished business, because you feel like the songs aren't quite finished in a way, because you haven't played them to people and got that. They would see which ones go down well, which ones work, and what the response is.
Yeah.
And so, in actual fact, we haven't played a new record live for 7 years, because Everything at Once was the last record that we actually got to tour.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to be back. We're loving it and having a great time, and everybody kind of focuses on the week of release, which is now, but we're just starting. You know, we've got so much to do. We're off to South Korea. We're off to Europe after that, then
Amazing.
we go to South America, then we've got the UK tour in December, then North America, and it goes on and on, so we're well up for it.
And you just mentioned the Killers gig last week. So Fran, a friend of mine went and said the moment you stepped out on stage, everyone knew the words to the songs.
Yeah.
My friend said it was like an old friend coming back, like a friend that you haven't seen in ages.
Total
like a peer,
recall.
and you just thought, yes.
Yeah, it's total recall.
But he also said you looked like you were having the time of your life on that stage.
Absolutely, but I am. It's like you cannot. This is the best job in the world. You know, we're all. I mean, in yours as well. I mean, God, all of us in this business we call entertainment have amazing. We get to do this. It's like a cool thing, and God, you know, you could have a real job.
Don't say that, Fran.
No, but
not with that hair.
I definitely couldn't with this hair. But really getting on stage and we go on. I remember I texted Brandon when I found out they were touring, and I was like, mate, you got support. Can we come and like go on before you and warm up the? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I said, I hope you realise that we're going to go on and blow you off the stage every single night. And he's like, I'm perfectly aware of that. And that's the thing. And I love the sort of the nice, friendly sort of competition thing where a band, the support band always do. I mean, when we supported Oasis back in 1997, they were the biggest band in the world, but we went on every night. And some nights we got them actually. And not in the UK tour, but in America. We definitely turned the crowd, and it was like a cold crowd. They knew no songs, but I always say with our band, put us in front of an audience and we'll do the rest. We're definitely we're a real proper band, you know.
Tell me about the reason you're here. We're just a
Yes.
matter of like an hour away
Yes.
from you doing a really special performance. It's going to be totally unlike the O2 because we just got like 100 or so, a couple of hundred people who really want to be here, and it's probably the most intimate experience they're going to get with Travis. And it's very special, this one, because you seem particularly hyped about this album. And Dougie, I hear, you know, you said to Chris Evans the other week that this is kind of one of the most personal albums that you've done. Tell me a bit more about it.
Well, I think that the record is, to me, I feel like it's right up there with The Man Who and things like that in terms of just the quality of the songs, the quality of the recording, and it feels essential. It feels like an essential Travis record. It feels, and it's got, I don't know, a little bit of magic to it. It just feels like it's glowing slightly, and it felt like that from when we recorded it. You know, it felt like it was a special session we had in LA with the great Tony Hoffer. And it just felt, oh, this is a special one, and it really is. It really is. I mean, I think it's definitely, and it's unusual for a band that's been going for, 30 years or whatever.
Oh, it's a long time, isn't it, you guys?
10 albums deep.
Yeah.
To be releasing something that feels so essential.
During the recording, we were we began to become aware that it might be getting good, or it might be a pretty good record. So I called on the photographer Stefan Ruiz, who did the Man Who cover, the Invisible Band cover, the Boy with No Name cover. He does like the cover of Time magazine now. When we first met him though, he was just a jobbing photographer, very, very good.
Yeah.
But he's now become one of the like biggest photographers in the world. And I was like, Stefan, he was in New York and we were in LA. I was like, can you come and do the picture? I've got an idea. And he came, and we got this incredible, I think it's one of my favourite album covers we've made. And it was like the second picture he took. I put it on Twitter yesterday. I don't know. I showed you.
Yeah.
It was like it's like a photograph I took with my phone of his camera, like the second shot, and that's the album cover.
Wow.
And it's there. It's all there. We had to change all of the registration numbers and branding, like Chevrolet had to be changed, and that's the only jiggery pokery that happened.
Amazing.
But it looks great. The Man Who was done in the morning. The Invisible Band was shot in the afternoon. The Boy With No Name was shot at sunset, and this is at night time. It's kind of like a set.
Wow.
Yeah, all shot by Stephen Roos.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's a lovely set.
Yeah.
I was wondering before you do your set tonight, could I be really selfish? I've heard the album, loved it. I mean, it's amazing. I was listening to the album and it was pouring down because it's this summer.
Yes.
And I was walking through this park, and when Bus started and, you know, Raise the Bar, it took me to a lovely train ride a few years ago I made in California, going from Los Angeles to San Francisco. It was just amazing. It took my head on a journey. And it's just got such a kind of happy but melancholic feel about it. I wondered if I could just chuck at you some tracks that I really love and we can talk about them. So Dougie, I want to start with Bus. Yeah. Tell me about this song. This is the current song.
Bus, I love Bus because it was one of the first things that Fran sent demo-wise, and it was immediately it had a little, you know, it's just like this, my partner described it as a hug. It's like a hug in a song. It's got this
warm, isn't it?
This real warmth to it. But I liked it because Bus is, I don't know, there's something very Glaswegian about waiting on a bus. It's just, you can imagine it pouring the rain, you're just sitting there. It feels like Glasgow, but it's like it's, you know, staring at the ocean, and it's kind of, it's in California, so it's almost like a connecting song between those two places.
Isn't that amazing?
Between California and Glasgow, and you've got both things happening simultaneously. So it's like a kind of spiritual or metaphysical journey between the two places.
I want to get back to the rain. Please take me back to the rain.
What's with the siren at the end? That took me by surprise.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's not actually. That's just some weird little noise that our producer Tony Hoffer he did this thing. He had this mad little synthesizer thing that goes throughout the song. Like there's instead of a guitar solo, he calls it a non-solo in the song, where all these weird little noises happen that all happened from this keyboard, and that thing at the end is like the remnants of that noise still just echoing and delaying away into the distance. It was about 3 times longer than that. We had to like shorten it. It's kind of one of those things where you're kind of waiting for 20 seconds for the song to end.
I think that's plenty to me.
But it's a lovely song.
It really is.
It's just really gentle and just doesn't really intrude, and it's got a very, very long burn off. You know, like with songs, some songs you go, I'm done with that now after a couple of months. I've been listening to that song for a couple of years now, and it's still fresh as anything when you hear it.
The next one I want to talk about is track number 2,
Raise the Bar.
Raise the Bar, which instantly I loved. It kind of pulled me in. This has got a bit more of a vibe to it, hasn't it? Tell me about this. I just pictured a group of friends together, you know, and life's changed, and there's a story there.
I love your take on it. It's cool.
Yeah.
So here's there's a bar in New York there was a bar in New York called Black and White. And this bar is like a legendary bar. It's been open for 21 years. Everybody went there. It was underneath the Strokes management office, WizKid. The Strokes went there. We went. All bands that had gigs at Irving Plaza and all around New York always ended up at Black and White. And it was a local bar for all the local people. They threw out nights of poetry nights, open mic comedy nights. Jonah Hill had his break there when he was 17.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he just went in and did his stand up and everyone thought he was brilliant. But it's one of those bars, like, you know, you walk in and no one cares about you, no one cares who you are. You just go in, the drinks are, you know, not extortionate, and the DJ always plays great music, and it's just, it looks great, and it was just totally unpretentious. Anyway, they had to close it down during the pandemic. And no one got to have that final drink in the bar. And when I was doodling away, the first line, you know, it's cold outside, but it's warm in here. It's very much, I mean, I'm the laziest songwriter in the world, and I think, I mean it in the best way. You need to be lazy.
How do you mean?
I mean, like, right, if your first line is cold outside, then the second line has to be the opposite. Right, so just go. It's outside, so then I've got to go inside. And if it's cold outside, then what is it inside? It's warm. So then, when I said that, I was like, well, where is that? And then I thought, I'm in Black and White. And I remember I can see Johnny, the owner, and Jack Walls sitting at the bar drinking, having a drink. And then it just all just wrote itself. So all the characters in the song, Johnny, Jack, Richard Hambleton in the kitchen, who was a painter from New York. He's passed away since. But Johnny gave him the kitchen as a studio. And he's like a famous like painter. He was around when Basquiat was around, and he was one of the original graffiti artists in downtown New York. So he was doing there, and there's Chris, is Johnny's brother's in there. And it's just this imaginary last night in this bar before they went in and ripped it all out.
What a shame.
They put it all in the back of a truck. It's in storage, and then they whitewashed it all. So we never got to say goodbye. And I played it to Johnny and his brother and all the people who have heard it, who have drank there, and they get very misty-eyed when they hear it.
That's so amazing. I could picture these characters as you're telling me.
Yeah.
The song came alive. It comes alive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What about this one, Dougie? I'd feel like I was missing a trick if I didn't chuck at you. I hope you spontaneously combust. Now, I get a Beatles feeling, but hilarious lyrics. Tell me about this.
That is, I think, possibly the most Smithsy title we've ever had, isn't it? It's just, when I saw, obviously I saw the title before I heard any demo or anything, and I was just like, what?
What's that?
And the MP3 was like, okay,
what's this about?
And it's one of those songs where I think the production and the instrumentation and the playing on it just fits perfectly with the lyric, because it's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a really kind of structurally, and the way everybody's playing on it, it's very odd. It reminds me of Beck.
Yes.
And that's what it makes me think of. Which, obviously Tony Hoffer did work with Beck. So it's got a little bit of that kind of odorly feel, that just odd, kind of slightly wonky feel to it that fits perfectly with this really acerbic lyric. There's a lot of quite kind of tough, hard-hitting things on the record. If you talk about the title track, don't play it on the radio, you'll get sacked.
Yeah,
you'll get fired.
We're looking for an edit.
There'd be a lot of beeps going on.
Yeah, a lot of beeps. But yeah, and I think the kind of the slight wonkiness of the production just mellows the hard edge of the lyric enough to kind of make it balance. It's a funny one.
And the lyric is directed at all these influencer people that drive me crazy on the internet.
Well, tell me more about that?
Oh man, you know what they're like. They're just like, who are you? Really? What have you done? You just sit and play, like, you open things and what is that? That's not. I come from a time, we all come from a time, I think, when we would be like, oh, you're on TV or in the news because you're brilliant at doing the pole vault or darts, or
you've achieved something.
Yeah, you've done, But now it's Andy Warhol's prediction has come true. Like famous for 15 minutes. But it seems like, anyway, they drive me slightly crazy. And also there's a lot of in that world of social media, it's so damaging to our kids. We're the fathers of, and I don't know about you, but we're the fathers of teenage boys, and I have friends who are fathers and mothers of teenage girls who are getting hammered by social media and hammered by these odd people who project this idea of how perfect they all are. They're not. It's just nonsense. Yeah. But they make people feel miserable. Yeah. And, kids are dropping out the trees type of thing.
The pressure now.
The pressure's unbelievable.
And so that's kind of my frustrations at all of that sort of bubble. I never sit down and go, right, I'm going to write a song about this. I'm not going to do that. It just comes out. It's just like, bleh, and there it is. And I'm like, well, that's quite funny. I hope you spontaneously combust is quite
a funny lyric.
It's genius.
But it's a culture that kind of thinks that, or teaches people that you get rewarded for just consuming rather than creating. And that's not a healthy thing, I don't think. I think it's healthy to bring more things to the party rather than just consume, and have extreme opinions. Because neither of those things are good,
Let me chuck at you my fourth song, final one. This is the one, if I was you, that I would most look forward to playing live. Gaslight. What a banger. I mean,
Aw.
I hear this went down particularly well at the O2.
Oh, yeah.
With people singing it back and
know.
stuff, you know. This is a crowd pleaser, right?
We're really happy with how all the new songs are being received. It's very difficult to introduce new songs into a set when you've got these sort of standard songs, you know, evergreen songs like Why Is It Always Rain on Me and Flowers in the Window and, you know, Sing, etc. But bringing in new songs is always a bit like, but as you say, people were like singing it back, and that's down to you guys. You're like playing it on the radio, and people are hearing it, and again, it's having a slow burn off, which is good.
Yeah, it seems to be really. I mean, it went down amazingly. I mean, people were even at the Killer shows. People were singing along to songs that they haven't heard, which was amazing. Like Alive, people were singing back to by the time, which was just.
Bearing in mind they'd only heard them for a few days.
It was.
I was drilling them a little bit,
but it was good. They were going for it. Like, sing this bit now.
You.
I know.
But I mean, the new stuff has been going down so well, and it's always, as Fran says, it's always interesting when you've got new stuff, because it's almost like the songs have to get along. The new songs have to get along with the big brothers of the older songs. You know?
A really interesting point there, Dougie. How do you come up with the set list, and how do you make that sing as a set?
It's getting harder. You know, we're 10 albums in, so if you include B-sides, that means there's probably about 150 songs, maybe more, 160 songs. And you've got, well, I mean, with the Killers, we had 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of distill it down. It's like a bisque. You know, cook it down. So we just whittled it down to the ones that we thought there's a few that people really want to hear.
Yeah.
Things like Sing and Why Is It Always Rain, and then we want to do a few new ones. So it's like Gaslight and Alive, and the ones that we thought would work best in big venues, and then a couple others that people know. But it was like the distilled set. You know.
Here's a couple of questions. Are there any, Fran, that you hate doing but you have to do because you know that you'll be, you know,
well, no,
ostracized?
I don't. Absolutely not. All the big ones I love because they're so easy to sing. As I say, I'm lazy bones. I'm like, I love singing all our songs at the moment. This is the hardest part for me as a singer because, like for instance, Bus is really hard to sing because I'm in the studio. I'm singing like staring at the ocean I'm singing like that. And then you go up to a mic and try and sing like that, and it's just like, where's his voice going?
And you start like that as
so
well.
then I have to try and find, do I go, staring at the ocean from a... No, that's too loud. And I've sort of got to find this weird little in the middle. And so that's where I am just now. So I kind of approach it really like, oh no. but you've got to go for it. So we're doing it. We're opening the set with it tonight. And you know, you were asking about how you get the sets in order.
Yeah.
There's big songs like Turn, like the throat shredders that you put in later in the set, and you use the set to sort of, I do anyway, to sort of let my voice warm up. But Brandon, when we were on tour, was very helpful. Like, he warms up. He's a total pro.
Yeah.
He does all this. He does all this kind of strange stuff, and he taught me how to do loads of these really great exercises. So I'm feeling a little bit more, you know, prepared these days.
Well, we can't wait
Thanks,
to see you
Brandon.
in action. Can I talk to you? Can I throw at you a couple of the classics? Why Does It Always Rain on Me? First one.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's that Glastonbury performance, isn't there? That's gone down,
Yeah.
as Liam Gallagher would say, biblical.
Yeah.
The fact that it rained. I mean,
Yeah.
what does that song mean to you now,
Oh
all
my
these
God.
years later, Fran?
It's the song that changed everything for us. There's every band's got a song that turns everything, pivots on. It's a fulcrum, is that right? Moment, and we kind of didn't really expect that to happen. You know, our manager at the time was telling us that nobody wants to hear a song about the bloody weather, and we were debating with the record company, like, what's the next single going to be? Is it going to be Turn? Is it going to be? Are we going to strip on Coming Around, because we'd already recorded that and they wanted to put it on? And I was like, no, maybe we do Why Does It Always Rain on Me? Like, nobody saw it coming.
Really?
Nobody.
No, not
Isn't
one.
that incredible?
No. But we knew it had something special about it. So it had that thing, but what for any band, and here's what happened really, it's like there was just that little moment, that little magical moment where it rained and everyone turned around at the same time and saw it, talked about it, and the next thing you know, the album starts floating up the charts again, and you know, here we are.
And I must ask you about Sing, because Sing got me out of a particularly horrible relationship.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
And it even now, I think I'm a fan of you guys. I think it's one of the most perfect pop songs, but also it's just a whole different vibe from Rain, isn't it? It's just on a sunny day.
We're
like
making
today.
we're making a little short documentary about that.
Tell me
song.
more.
We're we went into the studio in LA 25 years ago, recorded it. 25 years passed. We've been talking about it for years, but we didn't know. We didn't know that Adam Buxton. Well, Adam was there with us at the time, but I didn't know that he was filming every single minute of the recording of the whole of the Invisible Band. So we found all this. He sent me a jiffy bag, but no, with a hard drive in it, and it had like, I don't know, 100 hours of footage.
Wow.
And it's got all of the magic that happened in that song, and it's mega cool.
What's it like looking back on that?
Amazing.
Yeah?
I mean, Nigel Godrich is a genius. I mean, and you get to see that in absolute complete, it's like watching magic happening. And we were all, you see all us going, our jaws on the floor. He does this thing at the beginning of that song where we're all just going, what is he doing? He's like flipping the tapes over because we're recording on tapes, and then he's playing the song backwards at twice the speed, tells Andy Dunlop to go in and hit these tubular bells, and then starts like playing the song backwards and starts doing this thing, and we're all like, what? And it gets to the end, and then he flips the tapes back over and plays it, and it's like,
that's the noise that you hear.
that's the
Wow.
suddenly
That's it.
becomes this amazing thing.
He's like a wizard. He's like a little sonic wizard.
So when it happens, all of us are like, oh my God. It's like a really like, wow. I mean, you never hardly ever catch it on film because it's kind of lightning in a bottle moment.
Yeah.
And it's always just like, oh, I remember that. But we've actually got the moment where it happened. So we're sort of cutting that together just now.
I can't. When can we see it? Soon?
Oh, it'll be, well, we're going to do it in like 5 minute, we're going to do 4 5-minute little blips, and that's going to probably be sometime either at the end of this year or beginning of next year. Just something to put out there because it's such a, like you say, you know, you that song helped you and helped me, and it's like a bookmark song for a lot of folk, and it's just nice to know maybe just a bit.
You must have so many people who say you've marked different moments of their lives. You know, you soundtrack different people's chapters, relationships. People come, people go, but songs remind you of those things.
Oh yeah, they're so powerful.
I want to ask you, we're about an hour away from you stepping out on stage. This is an intimate gig for Travis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dougie, tell me about this. You get excited about, you know, because you're going to be able to see everybody's faces at the top of the tower.
Oh, personally, I love that. I kind of make a point of making eye contact with as many people as possible, even at the O2. Looking around, trying to just, you know, it's like I think it's a night. We just like playing. We like playing in front. We're like postmen. We're just delivering songs. You know, we're in the public service industry, and that's what we're here for.
We're at your service.
So we're at your service, and we like doing it. And as I said before, it's if we don't play the songs, it feels like unfinished business.
Do you know that thing you said the other yesterday, or was it Andy? Last week at the Killer Show, it was like the last Killer Show, or was it the Killer Show in the football? I don't know, one of those last nights.
Because they showed the football, didn't they?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But we were like, wow, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then, but on the very last night, there was some dude standing, and you're talking about making eye contact.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that guy?
That guy that was stock still.
Standing in a gold lammy suit, wearing shades, just not moving, not smiling, just the whole, and then through the whole Killer set, just like that. And the Killer's photographer took a picture of that dude. He looks.
It's a brilliant photograph.
It's terrifying.
I'm scared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Let's hope he's not here.
Yeah.
Fran,
A
final,
restraining order waiting to happen.
final question, Fran.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
surprises in your set tonight?
No, actually, we're just going to play. We're going to play some songs you know, and some songs that are new from the new record, and we're going to play Bus, and that's terrifying For me, I think I'll do okay, but don't hold it against me.
But
if I'm
you're
a bit-
doing it on the most beautiful day of the year.
I know.
With a stunning
I
backdrop
know.
of
It's,
London.
it's so you guys are spoiled. It's so amazing
It's
to
lovely.
see this, just this city from such an angle. And every day you get to come in, and it's, I suppose you take it for granted, but
Never. Every day it's different. You know, every day it's
Beautiful.
you see something, you notice something.
do you know what I think of when I come up in this building? I think of the Kinks, and I think of Waterloo Sunset.
Yeah.
That song is, this is like every day I look at the world from my window, you know, and you see all this, the life happening below you. It's just a beautiful view you've got.
Well, Dougie and Fran, thank you so much. It's great to hang
You're
out with you.
welcome.
Thank you for helping me through some pivotal parts of this sad little existence.
You're
You've done it
welcome.
over the years with your
You
brilliant
are
songs.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Travis.
you.
Thanks, Steve.
Virgin Radio.